Good morning, everybody, and welcome to more chatting in my jungle room. This time, I am going all the way over to the US where I'm chatting with a dear artist. She's an incredible performer. She is well, let's be honest, she's a legend and she's an icon. Please, everybody, welcome Lisa Simone. Lisa, how are you?
I am excellent. It's so good to be here with you today, Marcus.
Oh my lordy, what an absolute pleasure and an absolute delight to chat with you because I mean, like seriously, wow, next level. How has your day been so far?
So far, my day's fantastic. Looking forward to getting there and getting on stage and sharing my heart, my music, my legacy with my favorite part of the world in Australia
I love
and
that.
Adelaide in particular.
Yay. Because yeah, you were here just a couple of years ago for the Adelaide, actually last year I think it was for the Adelaide Cabaret Festival. Like you say, you are coming back with a different show this year. It's called A Daughter's Tribute to none other than Dr. Nina Simone, hitting State Theatre in Sydney, 10th of July, then 13th of July in Melbourne at the Hammer Hall, 23rd of July in Brisbane, and then lucky me, 26th of July, the day after I get back from Bali, Her Majesty's Theatre right here in Adelaide. Whoop, whoop. So it's going to be like a homecoming.
Exactly.
Hey, let's get to the nuts and bolts of it all. Singer, producer, actor, composer. I mean, you've done it all. Looking back when you were younger, what do you think your first love was?
Oh, wow. It depends on how far back we go. I've always loved cars. So my first dream was to be a race car driver.
Holy moly.
And and I mean, I can drive pretty much anything with 4, 6, 12, 18 wheels. Um, I always loved animals. Horses were a big thing for me for a while. And as I continued to just come into my own, music was never really an aspiration for me professionally. Singing was always something that came naturally, but no one in my life really encouraged me to do that. And so I felt free to explore other possibilities. And I wound up in the military, which was not part of the plan, but it was definitely part of the universe's plan. And it was when I went into the military and was introduced to engineering, civil engineering most specifically, that I was also reunited with who I truly am, which is a creative.
Mm.
And when I was reunited with that part of my heart, a flame was lit in me that I could not ignore. And I decided I wasn't going to let anybody talk me out of. And here I am with you now.
And look at you now.
So,
You know what we should do when you get to Adelaide? Hire I mean, hire a really cool looking car. And so mix the cars and the animals together, hire the car, go up the freeway and visit our Monarto Zoo, which has now got elephants, excitedly. So yeah, there we go.
really,
Beautiful. So there you go.
that sounds like a plan.
I don't know how long you've got in Adelaide, but if you get a chance, definitely do a trip up the freeway to our Monarto Zoo. Fun times. There we go.
Thank you.
Growing up, obviously, with such an iconic mother, in fact, before I actually ask you that question, I'm going to just tell you something. I actually never saw Nina perform ever. I actually had tickets for her final Australian tour, and then the tour got cancelled because she got sick. And it wasn't until it was probably about 8 and 10 months after that that she passed away, which was just tragic for everybody, but I was just devastated I never actually got to see her live. However, growing up with an iconic mother in the music industry, obviously her genre was more so jazz and blues. Listening to that as you were growing up, did you really immerse yourself in that world, or were you kind of more exploring pop, rock, other genres?
Well, I have to take a moment to just kind of upgrade a little bit what you've said.
Yep.
Mom has a tendency to fall into the category with a lot of people I've spoken to of jazz and blues.
Yep.
If you've seen the documentary What Happened Miss Simone on Netflix, everyone is reminded that she is a classically trained artist. And I asked her one day in my teens, Mom, what would you say your category of music is? She said, Black classical, darling.
Wow, yeah.
So when I bring my show to Adelaide, yes, when I bring my show to Adelaide, I was just realizing this morning as I was thinking it through that the songs I've chosen to do kind of highlight a plethora of musical categories that Mom's associated with, because she was definitely someone who covered a lot of artists' music like Bob Dylan and Billy Taylor, Anthony Newley, Mama Cass, for goodness sake. She did gospel, she did show tunes, she did blues, she did jazz, she did classical, and she did the Beatles. So it's important, I think, for us to understand that she was prolific, she was versatile, and she cannot be categorized, really, when you think about it. She's an artist's artist. So, but in growing up in that kind of an atmosphere, it was just regular. She was Mom.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, she was like the sun coming up every day. And looking back on it now that she's no longer with us and I'm carrying on this legacy, it's interesting to hear other people's perspective on, like, what was that like? How was that? And it was a combination of a lot of things.
So what were
And
you
it feels
listening
good
to?
to share them now. I'm sorry?
So yeah, so if you
What'd
rushed
you
up
say?
to the record store, chucked on the radio, whatever, who were you listening to? Who was, and being played in your bedroom?
Ooh, my goodness. It depends on the decade. I
Yeah,
mean, I used to listen to the radio all the time.
yeah.
Yeah, back in the 60s and 70s, you could hear anything and everything on the radio. There wasn't just one radio station that played just one type of music. So I liked everything from Otis Redding to Frida Payne to Doris Day, K Sarah Sarah,
Ah,
to the Doobie Brothers and oh my goodness, Supertramp, Earth, Wind and Fire, and the list just goes on. And of course, let's not forget my mother as well. So there's a lot of artists, Cat Stevens, Creative Source,
ah.
and I've just gone up to the 70s, really. You know what I mean? So I listen to a lot of different music, and it's wonderful to have that kind of a colorful background of music that I was raised in.
Cat Stevens, you touched on him. He's literally just a week ago brought out a brand new album, which is a collection of songs called Nature, all about, nature, of course. Take a listen to it. It's really pretty. Sorry, how much do you think your mother's music influences what you actually do musically today?
I think it influences it a lot in that she was so prolific and versatile. So we weren't just pigeonholed into one type of music. And now I find myself performing her music as an homage and a celebration. I remind people there's only one Nina Simone. A lot of people can't help try to compare us. There is no comparison, but we can celebrate her and keep her music alive. And something that I'm enjoying doing now that I have recorded my own music. I've gotten my own message out there, as you mentioned earlier, my song "My World." That's
Yeah.
just one of the songs that I've written. So now that I've kind of purged my system of the creative music so far that I have wanted to get out, I can really embrace this legacy in a way that I wasn't able to do before and celebrate my mother in my own way. So one of the things that the critics that came to the Adelaide show that they all seemed to agree on was that I have found it's a fine line, it's a balance between doing Nina Simone songs Nina's way and doing it my way, and not getting away from how the songs are remembered and appreciated without trying to be some type of a facsimile
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying continuing to bring for the legacy to live the way I bring it, and for these songs that are my brothers and sisters to for me to share my legacy in this manner with everybody.
Lisa, there's a really beautiful song. The name of the performer, the writer, escapes me at the moment, but it's called Dance with My Father Again. Incredible song. Um, let's do Sing with My
Yes.
Mother Again. If you had the beautiful gift of being able to sing one more song with your mum, what song would it be?
Oh, that's a good question. Would it be one of her songs or would it be one of mine? One of the songs that she and I talked about doing together,
Yep.
I'll start with that, was Sugar in My Bowl.
Uh,
We were going to do that as a duet. And she left this world before that happened. Another song that we did together on my Simone on Simone album is Music Lovers, where she accompanied me. It's the very first track on that album. I sing and she plays, and then she gets inspired to chime in later on. So I guess I would start there. Actually, there's so many. There
uh,
are so many. I mean, mom started in church, I started in church. If we go back to the hymnals, we'd be doing those as well. So it would definitely be, we would do an album together without a doubt.
Um, a good couple of years ago now, you produced a Netflix documentary, What Happened to Miss Simone? Amazing, amazing. Was that something more of a personal quest for you, a personal growth experience that you had to go through?
Actually, it had less to do with me and more to do with the promise I made to my mother on her deathbed. When I received the call about 20, when I come to Adelaide, you'll hear me perform a song called Tragic Beauty. Tragic Beauty describes the experience on the day that I'm speaking of.
Yep.
When I received the call that she only had a few hours left to live, I told her that I had her back, BACK. In other words, in the military, when your back is exposed, you have someone who's actually watching your back. I told her that I had her back and I would make sure that she was not forgotten. The release of that documentary was that promise fulfilled.
Mm.
And it enabled viewers to follow her journey in the first person. And I wanted her to be remembered the way she deserved and the way that she wanted to be remembered. So it was about her. It wasn't until it came out and many people were contacting me about my own story within the story that I actually realized that my own journey was intertwined with hers. I was so laser beam focused on getting her story out there that I didn't even take that into consideration.
Obviously, you've taken a lot of yourself from, your father and your mother. What would be the biggest quality that you have taken from your mother?
From my mother,
Yeah.
I think that the biggest quality, there's a couple of things. She taught me a lot of what not to do. And
Yeah.
some people don't understand what I mean when I say that. Watching her journey, watching her pain, watching her efforts, and the sadness and the so many aspects of her life that were not related to inner peace
Yeah.
or happiness or fun. She had those qualities in her life, but there wasn't really much balance there. And so I made a promise to myself that I didn't want to live my life that way.
Mm. Yeah.
And my mother chose to to uphold a cause. And because of her choice, she herself paid a huge price personally, standing up for justice and standing up for a group of people or a genre of people that many of which who when she died did not even know who she was. And so if my mother were to say something to me today, I learned after she died when I started just she became my cause and I abandoned myself. I abandoned my dreams and the progress that I had made in my own career to fight for her, to justify, to educate, to defend her at my own detriment. And I really feel that if my mother could have been with me physically, because she's always with me, she would have said, don't do that, your life. And so this is what I've passed on my own children. When I'm gone, you live your life, run for your life, because the legacy runs through your veins. Be happy, be at peace. And if I haven't gotten certain things together, don't turn around and try to fix anything. Be you. So this is what I've learned. And it's a very valuable lesson that has enabled me to follow my path. My smile is wide from the inside out.
Yep.
I can carry on this legacy from a place of joy, and my feet are firmly planted. And there's been enough pain and there's been enough suffering. There's time to be, there's so much more to life. And that's what I carry. And that's what she's taught me in ways that I never would have imagined I would have learned.
Lisa Simone, this perfectly runs into my almost my last question. But as a human being, what would be your proudest achievement so far?
My proudest achievement would be that I have learned how to honor and love myself, and that I have released myself from the chains so many people are bound by that they're not even aware of that are even there. And that forgiveness, the power of forgiveness, the power of acceptance, the power of these qualities leads to peace, leads to happiness. I remember I used to say years ago, there's no such thing as happiness. That's an illusion. No, that's not true. It's real.
Yeah.
And so I have found my way that this is a personal journey. I feel that we're all here on our own paths of our personal journeys. No one can save us. They can lead to war, but we ultimately have to make the decisions that end up determining the quality of our lives. And so that's what I've done.
Yeah, right here. Work from
I
love.
shine my light for others.
Yeah.
That's right. That's it. And when I get on that stage, I shine my light for others and inspire others. And if I can do this after all that I've been through in my life, anybody can.
Yes. Amen, darling. Amen. Um, you have inspired people, motivated people, given people strength, exactly as per your mother. And credit to you, like, blessed, blessed. One last question. What does music mean to you?
Wow. I don't think anyone's ever asked me that before. What does it mean to me? It's so much a part of who I am. It's like breathing. It's a part of my identity. Um, it it is yeah, it's a part of who I am. So it's just is. It is.
Lisa Simone, you are an
But
absolute
I don't know how
delight. You're such a beautiful human, and I cannot wait to catch up with you when you get to Adelaide. So, like we said, everybody, a daughter's tribute to Dr. Nina Simone kicks off the 10th of July. It's in Sydney, comes to Adelaide, 26th of July, ending the tour at Her Majesty's Theatre right here in Adelaide. Get onto Lisa Simone's website, grab your tickets, get along, because this is going to be a joyous, blessed evening. Thank you so much, Lisa.
Thank you. May I say one more thing?
Yes.
www.lisasimonemusic.com.
Get on it, everybody.